Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios.
International.
It is Monday, and we'll have JC and we'll have Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. He'll break down the Gators Tennessee basketball game. Gators get clobbered up there. I was not surprised. I believe they're home to Vanderbilt, who's playing really good basketball. But we got a lot to talk about. It is Super Bowl week, and we have JC, who is back in the Bahamas here on the Tight Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town.
Gotta give some shout outs to my people at the Bahamas.
You think they're listening?
Well, I can tell you who is, and that would be our sponsor, Peachland Dental, led by the great and incredible Joe Lawson, and all his friends in Punta Gorda, Dennis, Matt, and some of the Walt. Some of these guys that I met from Punta Gorda who all watched the show, QB, and Joe Lawson and his lovely lady, Jess, and Billy and his wife, Ashley. These were great people that just come to have a good time. And the Bahamas was just thumping down there. It was beautiful weather. We got very fortunate. I'm very blessed to be able to go down there and do this with all those wonderful people. And I really love our contingent in Punta Gorda, Florida. We have a real following and a real group of great people in Punta Gorda. And Joe did tell me that my wife's tooth extraction would still cost $6,000. I was hoping I'd get the Punta Gorda discount, but I'm just kidding. It's just great to see those folks once a year at least, and we get to see Joe. And I don't know if the lovely lady Jess and Billy and Ashley are coming to Mississippi, but I hope they do. I hope they get this message. Having said that, QB, I did watch a lot of basketball as I was gone, playing golf in the on the island course there, and I was taken by some of these road upsets. The road upsets, specifically Arkansas going to Kentucky with Calipari, Kansas State blowing out Iowa State on the road, and Kansas State's a very average team. Texas Tech beating Houston down there in Houston. Missouri absolutely destroying and burying the 14th ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs. The only team that went on the road and didn't get an ups or didn't win and rather got buried itself was our Florida Gators, who scored 23 points in the second half against a very shorthanded Tennessee team. QB, you can't tell me you weren't surprised, because you don't go and lose to a shorthanded team by 20 points on the road. That Tennessee team's not a Final Four team, QB. I don't care what you say. And
well, a lot of people who are asking you, giving you crap because you didn't think they were
they're not
a team when they're here.
Look, Florida didn't even show up, QB. Don't give me this Tennessee's as a juggernaut.
I still think Tennessee's a very good team. They had Auburn on the ropes in Auburn.
They lost 3 games going into the Florida game, QB. 3 straight. Come on. I mean,
one of them was to Auburn on the road by 1 point or 2 points.
Well, I mean,
and Auburn's the best team in America.
They are.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Not even close. You don't think Houston can play with them?
Auburn's already beaten Houston. Not that that matters, but they've already beaten them at Houston.
Not that that matters.
It does not matter. Houston lost yesterday.
They lost by 1 to Texas.
They lost to the team that you're wearing their hat. I guess you bought it because that team is very good also.
They are very
good.
By
the way, Matt says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, next time either one of y'all visit Kyle at Live Oaks, take a drive 2 miles north on Highway 49 and check out Sacred Ground Barbecue.
Ooh.
Now, I was there during Christmas.
Sacred
that has to be up by Pocahontas.
That's by the TP. Yeah, it's got to be.
But I didn't. It must have just opened up. I didn't check it out, but I drove right by it.
Who said that? Who told us to do that, QB? Who told us to do that?
Matt. Matt lives up there in Jackson.
Matt. Okay.
Somewhere in Jackson or in that area. Brandon, maybe. I don't know.
I hope we see Matt at the Masters. Okay.
I don't think Matt's a golfer. He just loves the Mighty Gators.
Well, the Mighty Gators were less than mighty, but it's a chance to get back. Mandy got smoked the other night. This is the SEC.
Did you see? But hang on a second. I'm going to bring this up with Chris Harry. But
all right,
Vanderbilt was playing at Oklahoma.
Yeah, they were winning too.
They were winning big. Oklahoma cut it to a 4-point deficit at halftime. Do you know what the score was in the second half?
Yeah, I mean,
61 to 24.
it was 61-27, and
27.
Vanderbilt scored 40 in the first half. Listen, these runs, the momentum, that's all SEC basketball seems to be. Now, tell me what happened in Kentucky. What the hell's going on with Pope and your boys in Lexington?
I have no idea. I watched some of that and then went to bed. I couldn't believe. Look, Arkansas has not shot the basketball like that all year long. I saw a quote, these Kentucky like media guys that pop up on my feed, because a lot of those kids wore the blue last year, right?
Yeah.
He says these kids are much better as the visiting team playing in their home arena, Rupp Arena.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that stunned me. I lost money on that game. I took Kentucky down there. I also took the Texas Longhorns, who were playing better, and I had Missouri, dude. Missouri Tigers can shoot the basketball. They got 88 at Mississippi State. They're ranked 20th in the country. The Missouri Tigers were the easiest pick on the board, getting 6.5 points at Mississippi State, who just fell asleep. And you got to give Missouri credit. When they shoot lights out like that, when this kid Grill or whatever gets going from the 3-point line, forget about it. Missouri's beating you. And they showed us down here how good they can shoot the basketball. I like Missouri.
I can't wait for Chris Harry to get on here and answer all these questions from our great listeners. How about this one? This one's from Kay Brown on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Todd Golden needs a new offensive coordinator.
Well,
we had a bad shooting night, folks.
That's a bad day. Yeah, Tennessee does have a sticky defense. But listen, they were playing shorthanded without 2 starters. I don't want to hear it. No excuses, dude. No excuses.
No, we got our ass beat.
That's right.
Andy on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, JC, what kind of small talk did you and Roy Williams have?
Well, Roy was really happy that he was in the Bahamas and not in Durham, North Carolina. He did say he was having more fun these days as not watching North Carolina basketball. So he's a little down on him. He was all blued up, though, and I thought he would go to that game at Duke, but he was smart enough not to, and he stayed in the Bahamas, and he ate at the cafe in the airport yesterday, and we waved to each other. It was nice meeting him. He's he's a Hall of Famer, dude. He's got 3 national championships in North Carolina. He came close to Kansas. He's a legend in that sport, and he was standing right next to me throwing dice, and he does not bet like a guy who's probably worth $20-30 million. He bets like a guy like the rest of us, just throws a couple bucks out there and has a good time, enjoys the game. And he hates it when he loses $20, but he loves it when he wins $20. So you would be surprised. And I think it was fun to see him, but it was fun to be down there. That place was live. And the people in the Bahamas are happy. They seem happier. They were very open. The service was tremendous. Island time did not get to what the stereotypical island time is. You know what I mean by that? And I think it was a great experience, a good trip. I highly recommend, if you have some bucks, go down to Atlantis and have fun. I like it better than the Baja Mar. Atlantis is just bigger. It's got more action. I like it better. So that's the way. That's my Bahamian review. It's easy to get to. It's close. Take a little money down there, and you might get lucky.
Text on the Titan Mar text line from Daryl says, good morning. When you have a poor shooting and turnovers, you usually don't win many games. Glad to see the 9-car back in victory lane last night. Yeah. Oh, what did we have last night? The Firecracker 500 or something?
No, QB. The
Chase Elliott won?
No, the Daytona 500 is not until,
No, something happened. Well, he just said Chase Elliott won. I don't know what event it was.
That's probably something.
We don't have the STP update on this program.
No, my McDonald's guy, Joe, he was in the Bahamas. He will not be anywhere near the Bahamas on Daytona 500 day. That's his biggest time of year with all those McDonald's over there in Daytona. And that race is coming up in a couple of days, but it's their big one. How about the golf? I was not surprised to see Roy get off to a big start. He was good, and 21 under is just too easy at the AT&T. These courses in California, what is with these courses in California, QB?
Well, they're way too easy. They have the waste management, which is wild, starting this week. Look, I'm off the Tom Kim. I'm done with Tom Kim, JC. I'm done with Tom Kim.
Why? Because he drove in the ocean on 18?
Well, no. Ju Young takes forever to pull the club. I mean, I'm going to text Paul Tesori, and I'm going to say, Paul, you got to do something. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, he is deliberate. He had to walk down the ocean to make sure his ball didn't wash into the Pacific, but he did.
That cost him a lot of money, too.
It sure did. But you know who made some money was your guy Lowry with the birdie there, getting second place all to himself. I was impressed with Lucas Glover. I look for that guy to have a good. He's an older player. Major champion. He's won a couple tournaments outside of his major. He's won 2 majors. I think he's won 2 U.S. Opens. So look for Lucas Glover this year in some of these bigger tournaments. He won't play them all, but he'll play most of the big ones. And then I think Rory could win a major this year. I think he can get over that major slump he's in. He's been a dry spell. He's got so much talent, so much game. He came so close last year. I'm predicting this year he will win one of the 4 majors.
Electronics World integration and design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Check them out, electronicsworld.net. We got JC. While Chris Harry will recap the Gator basketball game and moving forward. Great question by Reggie on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon. Shane, what are your thoughts on Jason Day's outfit? That Malbon brand he wears, that I think Adidas has something to do with it, or somebody. It is the worst golf apparel I've ever seen in my life. He basically had a sweatsuit on. He had like a drawstring sweatpants that were 5 times too big. To answer your question, he looks stupid. But Tony says JC wears sweatpants at hell.
Well, if I was
at Pebble Beach,
I would. If I was at Pebble Beach, I wouldn't. That's for sure. And I did not wear sweatpants at the Paradise Island Ocean course. I can promise you that. But
it would be hot.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It's going to be hot this week here in Gainesville. We're looking at upper 70s, low 80s. The weather in January has passed, thankfully. We get some warm weather now. 44 QB, what's there to talk about? I mean, with Chris, they suck. You got to look past it. 44 points. I mean, just go forward. That game is just.
Yeah, it's over with. You burn the tape and don't even watch the tape.
I mean, I wouldn't even talk about that game. Who cares? Tennessee is, you love them, but.
I don't love them. I just think they're a good basketball team. I don't think they're a fun team to watch. They're very, they're one of those boring ass football teams like Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Tennessee is.
Yeah, that's it. Well, listen, it all comes back to you on Wednesday night, 7:00. Thank God it's not 9:00. And, Vanderbilt's coming as a team. You can definitely handle them. And then you got a chance on Saturday to make it.
What do we have Saturday?
On Auburn? Saturday, the Gators are playing at Auburn, man. It's a big opportunity. Big opportunity. Look, Auburn's not your perfect team. They're going to lose a game at some point in this league. But right now, you have to give them credit. They are the best team. I think Alabama can give them a good run. I think you can slip. They can slip up and play somebody like Texas on the road and have a bad night. Listen, they can be beaten. They can be beaten.
Gator Art is he woke up on the wrong side.
Missouri can beat them. What happened to Gator Art?
Gator Art says we might lose to Auburn by 100.
No, I mean. I tell you what, who can beat them is on a good night in Columbia, Missouri. Como can beat them. Missouri can definitely beat them. They shoot the ball too well. I'm impressed with Missouri.
But they can have a bad shooting night. It happens.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, so can Florida, obviously. So it can happen to anybody. But the team that should be really concerned is Kentucky. I'm really surprised at the way they've kind of this last 2 weeks have just taken the tank. And you don't lose at home to Arkansas. I'm sorry. That team Arkansas may not be one of the teams that makes the tournament. That's just surprising.
They're not going to make the tournament.
Right.
Text from Frank on the Titan Mar text line. Looks like we're going to lose Coach Chapman to the NFL. Would be a big loss. Hey, he's a good coach, and it looks like the Bears, I think, are going to hire him.
What did I miss last week when I was out there gallivanting around on the islands? Anything exciting happen around here last week? Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Chris from Cottondale says, I have to disagree with Shane this time. I do agree with Auburn possibly being the best team in the country, but I can't say it isn't close. I hate Duke, but they have talent. They are talented and have beaten Auburn, although it was in Duke, which is to their advantage. I think with all the parity, it's hard to say anyone is head and shoulder. I agree with that. I have not watched Duke a lot. I'm not a Duke fan. I know they're very good with the flag kid. I'm with you, JC. I would not want to play Houston either.
No. Very athletic team. And, it's going to come down to QB as we see every year. Every single year comes down to who in March is got it all going right now at that point. And kind of like the way Missouri is playing right now. If you get hot in March, that's all you got to have. I mean, right now we're still in early February. I'm not overly concerned about the Gators. I was sad we lost, but Florida is a very talented team. They're ranked 5th. That probably will change if they don't have a good week this week. So we'll see.
Yeah. So the NASCAR series opened up the other night. It was the unofficial opener.
Yeah, prelim.
Chase Elliott won at Bowman Gray Stadium, which is in Winston-Salem. It's a quarter-mile track, JC, if you care.
Okay. But
I like Chase Elliott.
I listen. I'm happy for Chase Elliott. I couldn't tell you what number his car is.
He's number 9. He's the 9 car.
Okay, there you go. Well, you would know that. That's cool.
He's the only one I know.
Well, we used to follow it more. We used to have on the radio days. QB, remember the old picks contest?
Yeah.
Pick our drivers.
Dan wants to know how's Walter's ankle. We'll ask Chris Harry. At least he came back into the game. It didn't look good at first, but he came back into the game.
Very true. Very true.
JC, how are you feeling about the Super Bowl?
Well, I was talking to some guys from Philadelphia, Cape Town for the trip. The wonderful Ira Gerber and Wayne Fisher, our boys from Philadelphia, and they are very confident that they have a better roster. They have a better team. They have more athletes and this and that and the other.
I agree with all that.
They say their defense is better. I don't know about that, but it's very good. It truly is. But the one thing you cannot discount, you cannot handicap is the intangible value that Patrick Mahomes brings to every single game he plays, with the plays that he makes and the brain he has between those ears of his. Nothing on Philadelphia can match that. And so that's what you have to beat when you beat the Chiefs. Not to mention, Chris Jones and the Kansas City defense led by Steve Spagnuolo is a game changer. They change games with their blitz packages and so forth. So I think Kansas City, until you beat them, has got to be the favorite. So how do I go against? Here's what I'll do. I'll bet on Kansas City, and that way, and I'll root for Philly, and that way I'll be happy either way. If the Eagles win, I'll say, great, the treachery of the Chiefs has finally come to an end. But if the Chiefs win, I'll say, whatever, give me my money. And that's how I'm going to approach it. It's kind of like the way you looked at it with the Buffalo Bills. Everybody in America wanted the Buffalo Bills, but you're crazy to put money on them. You had to bet on the Chiefs at home. So that's how you kind of compensate for your misery. Oh, wow. Look at this. I got $100 bill. Okay. I got $100 bill because the Chiefs won, but I was rooting for the Eagles. Or
why do you have a $100 bill sitting on your table outside?
I don't know. It fell out of my pocket. Or you could say, you know what? Goodbye, Goodbye, $100 bill. But the Philadelphia Eagles are the Super Bowl champion. And then you say, well, I'm not really an Eagles fan, but the Chiefs have been beaten. So you've got both sides of that emotional spectrum covered, QB. And I know you get very emotional about these football games.
Oh, so emotional.
That's how you have to handle it.
I could care less who wins. I do think the Eagles and the Ravens have the best rosters in football.
Which means
nothing. I mean, it's true.
But am I right about the Mahomes thing? The intangible?
Dude, he's the best that's ever played, in my opinion. I know people are going to talk, oh, it's Tom Brady. That's your opinion. My opinion is I think Pat Mahomes is better.
Okay. No, you won't have a lot of arguments for people.
Oh,
Brady
there's
has more
I argued
wins.
with somebody at the golf course the other day. I said, okay, well, first of all, Brady played 20-something years. This kid's been in the league 7 years. So let's give him time.
Wow. Well, I think you're right. I think, when it's all said and done, right now, I mean, will Mahomes play into his 40s? We'll see.
Probably not. All right. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. You put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union. 2013 in New Orleans, Super Bowl. It was I think this is the Harbaugh Bowl. The Ravens beat the 49ers. Joe Flacco was your MVP. It was a 34-31 game.
I remember that game.
That's This Day in Sports.
That was Colin Kaepernick, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick. QB, can you imagine what the security situation for this game and this weekend is going to be in New Orleans? I mean, you're going to have to go to the Superdome 4 hours before kickoff just to get in the damn place by kickoff. I don't know. It just sounds like it's going to be a real mess. But it has to be because of what happened during the Sugar Bowl. But I still think, and then they got the Mardi Gras celebration going on in New Orleans could be the safest place on earth by the time we get done with Mardi Gras and the Super Bowl. But I like Kansas City, QB. I mean, I don't like them. I mean, I will take Kansas City in the game. I'm done trying to fight it. Why do you fight something that just it's kind of like insanity. You're repeating the same mistakes over and over again until it changes. You're crazy. Now, I think the Eagles are good, but they're the Eagles, and Sirianni is not Andy Reid, although he gets a lot of criticism for winning all the time, and that's not
He
fair.
does do some dumb crap, though.
But he does. His clock management is questionable.
The best thing he did was hire
adding points.
Vic Fangio.
Well, that helps. Yeah. I mean, and look, it shows on their defense, but they don't have the Kobe D, but they've got Jalen Carter. They don't have this guy, but they've got another guy. They're very depth. Their depth is incredible. I think you're looking at an over. If it's 48.5, you go over. And I think the total is going to be something that we'll see a lot of points. These teams don't kick field goals. They might in this game, but I don't see it. I think these guys are going for everything.
What if it's a defensive struggle, JC?
Well, then, it could be.
You're going to lose the over.
You're going to lose the over, but you still might win the Kansas City side. I think it's 2 points. It's 1.5 points. You take it down to 1, and you just say, win the game. Just win the game. That's it.
Somebody on here, I can't find it. I'm trying to scroll through it. Somebody wanted to know if we saw the quarterback in the Senior Bowl from Canada. I did not see one play of the Senior Bowl. Not one. Did you see any of it, JC?
I'm sorry. The Senior Bowl was not a highlighted event on the itinerary down in Nassau, but I'm sure it was great.
Well, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Or was it Saturday? Okay. I don't even know what day they played it.
You got me, QB. You got me. I'm sorry, our Senior Bowl lack of
yeah, Tony says here, I did see this. I wanted to bring it up. He said, did y'all see how Florida State lost to Boston College? Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable how that can happen.
Tell me what Florida State's actually good at. Are they good at anything? Are they good at golf? Can they play golf?
They are. Well, they probably have one of the best players, Luke Clanton, who's been in the top 10 in the PGA Tour events.
Okay.
He's there.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to be good in golf.
Okay, but that's
decent in baseball. They'll be good in softball.
They'll be good in softball. Okay.
They've become a spring sports school.
Well, they have, and I don't want.
They're good in track usually too. I think.
Oh, are they pretty
good?
Not
like us, but they're pretty good.
I tell you, and Doug, thank you for the nice words, Doug Cook here on YouTube. I tell you, I think it's amazing how a school like that has basically been forgotten about in football. Basketball is a joke because they've got an 80-year-old coach in it. I don't know how old Leonard Hamilton is, but he's got to be getting up there. He's got kids suing him or whatever. It's just a disaster. Whoever's running that who is that AD up at Florida State? The guy's just lost his mind. I think, let's sue the ACC. Actually, the ACC should sue Florida State for misrepresentation of a football team or a program. That's what the ACC should do, is countersue Florida State for their lack of responsibility. And, Florida State's an embarrassment. It's just, I'm going to Tallahassee tomorrow to play golf with a client at the Golden Eagle Country Club. And there's another course called Kalarin. So here's what they do well in Tallahassee. They put money in golf courses, and they have really superb financial backing at these golf courses that are privately owned, not from some company in Texas. This is a real golf community. And so I will say in Tallahassee, they have that going for them. But as far as everything else goes, basketball and football specifically, you can forget it. That school is off the map, off the radar, and lousy. And I think they overpaid for that guy Norvell just because he won 11 games. And I just think that, or 12, and I just think that it's a joke. They're an absolute embarrassment. But having said that, it's going to be fun to go to Tallahassee tomorrow, play some golf at the Eagle, and then we'll look at Kalarin. I think they put something like, over $10 million into that Kalarin golf course, QB. It's
I've always said, if you love golf and you live in Gainesville, you made a mistake.
Well, there is help on the way in Alachua, Florida. And
it's ridiculous. Andy says the kid from Canada had never played 11 on 11. That was his first time. That's pretty cool. I think Jesse was the same way when he came to Florida. I don't know if he played 11 on 11 ball. People may forget that Jesse Palmer played high school ball up in Canada.
Yes, he did.
Because he's from Canada. So
yes, he is. He's the bachelor.
He's the bachelor. He does it all. Jesse's a busy man. C. Irby says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, can be right when something clicks with my irons and I start hitting more greens, my driver and tee game falls apart. Golf is hard. Golf is damn hard.
You're right, C. Irby.
It's so hard.
That is well said. That is well said. It's hard to put together the whole game. A couple guys can do it,
and there's nothing better than whenever you play a lot of golf with guys that either played on the mini tours, played college golf at SEC schools, and you see them struggle and how mad they get. I love it. It cracks me up. It cracks me up.
We have a mutual friend named Paul who has just basically said,
Well, but he's not. He didn't play college. I'm talking guys
he's
that
a
played
teacher.
serious
Okay.
college golf.
I
JC.
understand. But this guy named Paul that we know is
He's a head case.
He might be, but he found his game in the Bahamas, and that's usually an
He's
alert
good.
sign.
He's good at those kind of silly formats.
Yeah.
When he plays his own ball, he loses his mind.
Oh, geez, QB, you are on him. Well, I don't know. I like seeing those guys playing all this, but once in a while, I don't mind playing a 10 handicap and beating the brains out of that guy too. I don't mind that. I really don't. I got to be honest with you. It doesn't bother me to win once in a while, QB.
All right, text on the Titan Mar text line from James. James says, "I do not understand how Billy keeps losing coaches to the NFL."
Well,
look, again. I love the University of Florida. I love my football team. But folks, there are other football programs in the world.
Disclaimer. Right? Yeah.
Is that a disclaimer?
You must disclaim when you say these things.
You're just because somebody it's just like when people say, I don't understand how he chose that school over the University of Florida. That guy probably has zero ties. You bleed orange and blue. He does not give a damn. Right? They're going to do what's best for them. Right.
And not one of them know who Steve Spurrier is who's playing it. I mean, some of these guys, they weren't alive back in those days.
There's people that don't even know who Tim Tebow is.
Or Urban Meyer.
Yeah. So
Percy Harvin.
I would not, look, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Put it this way. If you took a poll of everybody that coaches from high school to the National Football League, would you rather choose A, coach in the NFL, B, coach at a Power 5 school, or C, coach FCS? Every one of them are going to choose the National Football League because of the benefits, and you're coaching football. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just coach ball. Yeah. And that's what they love.
It's incredible to me, though, how in the NFL right now the same team's winning. It's not meant for that to happen. But that just speaks to the incredible excellence of the Kansas City. They are the gold standard, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Taylor Renee says JC still thinks Tennessee's not a top team, and we are. Well, Taylor, remember, Florida beat that team by 30 and really couldn't throw it in the Tennessee River the other night. The jury for me is still out on Tennessee. They lost a bunch of games before that game even happened on Saturday. They're not consistent to me yet. Not yet. Maybe they'll get hot and start shooting the ball better. I thought Florida had a great chance getting 5 points when they had 2 starters missing on the Tennessee roster, coming into those games with a couple of losses, and the Gators playing the way they are. I'm sorry. Nobody saw 44 points on Saturday, Taylor. Not one person, including you, thought that the Gators were going to be stuck up 44. Not one. I thought that might have been their halftime score. So I was wrong about that, but so was the rest of the free-living world and free-loving world. So that's okay. It's okay. It's a bad day. You throw it out. Tell Chris Harry, don't even talk about it. Go straight to Vanderbilt. Do not pass go. Do not collect. Go straight to Vanderbilt. And then for pass go, collect $200 and go straight to Vanderbilt and then go straight to Saturday's game. Forget about Tennessee.
Yeah, Gator Art says on YouTube, brought to you by Co-op, Billy Gonzalez bleeds orange and blue. He keeps coming back for more.
Well, he does.
He enjoys living in Gainesville and coaching here, but I can promise you if School X says, okay, here's what we're going to offer you, he's gone. He's gone. What do you think about Chip Kelly?
Isn't it something? And not just Chip Kelly, but the guy at Seattle that was going to join Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, who left, is now going to Alabama. These guys bounce around.
Well, he got fired by the Seahawks.
There you go. He didn't have to go to Alabama, though, but he did.
He's going to go where he knows. Kalen DeBoer knows him. It's all about relationship.
That's right. There you go. I think Chip Kelly enjoyed his stay at Ohio State for about 50% of the time, and now he's going to move on. That's what he does. He's a guy that moves on. That's what he does.
Barone, before we get you out here, JC says, when the NFL comes calling, you take the job. Only 32 teams in the world, and his head coach will be on year 1. That's 2 to 4 years in the NFL and a good start to those pensions as a position coach. Bingo.
Yes. Yeah. I can't disagree with that. So, we have incredible listeners and viewers here, dude. We've got people in Punta Gorda, in Philadelphia, all over the places you travel there, in Cleveland, Mississippi, and all that. We have such a great. I just want to thank everybody for watching. I'm excited to be back in Gainesville. It's nice to be nice and warm. I'm going to Tallahassee to tell them how embarrassing their school is But I will tell you how the golf courses play when I come back on Wednesday, QB.
All right, have fun, JC. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Yes, JC joins us on the Titan and Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout, come back. Get your frustrations out for Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. We'll be right back.
For Chris.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Bishop's Pitmaster Barbecue, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Cogent Bank, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG and A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football. Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Unleash the Inferno.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. There are many car washes in Gainesville, but only one Gallo Car Wash, locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations: Northwest 13th Street, Southwest Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. Back to the Titan and More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by senior writer for FloridaGators.com. He covers hoops mostly. The season is over, Chris Harry. Hang it up. It's over.
Breaking news for fans, those hardcore fans and those Twitter fans there, that the Gators have decided to continue playing the basketball season this year.
That's good
with their modest 18-3 record.
Yes. All right, so let's go. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of Gator fans were excited because the way they were playing. They get the report that 2 starters are out for Tennessee. Gators are going to roll right through the big Vols. Didn't happen.
No.
It happens. We did not play well.
Mm-hmm.
We did not shoot well.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those, and I don't know in basketball if they do it, Chris. I don't even show them the tape. Let's just move on. What do you think? I mean, it's a quick turnaround too. They play tomorrow.
Right. I mean, I think you do show them a little bit of tape. I don't know how much time you spend on it, but the confluence of events for Tennessee, they'd lost 2 games in a row, including a home game. They were a desperate team. Yes, Zakai Ziegler was out, and Igor Milicek was out. It's funny because I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but I went back in 2021. Okay, Tennessee came here, number 6 team in the country, playing a unranked Florida team that had lost Keontae Johnson to his heart situation, and Colin Castleton was a game day scratch, by far the best players on the team. Right, game day scratch. Florida destroyed them by 26 points. It was the most equal the most lopsided win ever against a This stuff happens all the time. Last year, UConn lost, I think, 2 games by 19 points on the way to national championship. So what was it? How did Aaron Rodgers say it? RELAX. Okay. Now, are there some things to go over? Sure. But the thing that concerns me more than anything from that game, at some point when it's 21-point lead in the second half, you're thinking, okay, we're going to move on. How was Walter Clayton? Okay. Because nothing else matters beyond that. All right. After, you're going to lose games in this league, unless maybe you're Auburn. Auburn's a really, really good team, man. And they're not just elite in the Southeastern Conference; they're the best team in the country right now. But Walter Clayton, I talked to him after the game a little bit. He says, "I'm fine. It's a bad sprain." He was in the facility a long time yesterday, getting treatment. What is his prognosis? And they said after the game they didn't think it was terribly serious, but he's probably not going to be himself. I don't know that. We'll find out. But I mean, this is a guy who's played, sports his whole life or stuff. I'm sure he's rolled his ankle before, but that's something you obviously didn't want to see. And now you combine that, I believe, the strength of this team is obviously the guards. Will Richards took 2 shots in the game. Okay.
We had a lot of people ask that. That's crazy.
You know how this works, Shane. When they put X's, this is what we have things. Will Richards is an X factor. Okay. So, there was a lot of balls and out. They never got into their offense, Shane. Again, it wasn't like they were able to get out and transition because Tennessee doesn't really let you do that much. Okay. And in the second half, they were taking the ball out of the basket the whole time. So they weren't going to be able to run because they weren't getting any stops. And they shot 23.8% for the game, 4-27 from 3. Elijah Martin scored 6 points. I don't think he scored until there was like 8 minutes left in the game. So to your original point about Flushing, that wasn't what we've seen this year. So you got to think it's an outlier, but you also have to go prove it's an outlier. And it doesn't get a whole lot easier. Vanderbilt's not playing particularly well right now. They're coming off a 30-point loss. They gave up 61 in the second half the other day.
They were ahead at halftime.
They're ahead by 4. They're up, I think, 13 in the first half at one point.
Right.
So and you lose by so they're a 43-point turnaround in the last whatever it is 30 minutes of the game. But after that, they play at Auburn Saturday, and then they're at Mississippi State, your squad, on the following week. So you got to get things right, and first things first, it's Vanderbilt and getting and putting this game behind them, and it couldn't come fast enough.
Yeah, Gator Art woke up on the wrong side of the bed, Chris. He says, this is YouTube brought to you by Quality Point. Mr. Harry, why shouldn't I burn my Gators Final Four ticket to win it all now? I am shambles after Saturday. They don't play inspired on the road, and March is all road games. But they're not road games in March. Those are neutral site games. It's a difference.
Yes. And the last time I checked, I think Florida's unbeaten in neutral site games this year. So you can tell, what's his name? Art?
Gator Art.
Gator Art. Okay. Gator Art needs to paint a better picture of the situation going forward. I burn your Final Four ticket. 4 teams go to the Final Four. There's 355 of them out there. Those are long odds that Florida's going to go to the Final Four. Okay. But like I said, I just made the point. UConn lost 2 games by 19 points last year and won a second straight national championship. This stuff happens. Florida, the year they won their second national championship in a row, I believe lost 3 of their last 4 regular season games. So it's basketball. This isn't like football. The Gator fans are so in tune to the whole football mindset. They think one loss is the end of the world. Stop. Okay. Basketball, it's matchups, it's day to day. Rick Barnes like I said, his team had lost 2 in a row. And I in his press conference, he said, those guys got together. They go, we have enough guys right here to make this happen. They had a lot to play for, 21,000 people there. Coming off a loss to Kentucky. A home loss to Kentucky. They had stuff to prove. Who would have thought Arkansas would beat Kentucky, man, with Boogie Flan out for the season, and so much going for. And people say, "Oh, Kentucky didn't have Lamont Butler." Well, I mean, there's stuff going on the Arkansas
Yeah.
side, and
Well,
man,
Arkansas has never shot that well this year at all.
yeah, and as miserable as Gator art is right now, think of the Big Blue Nation,
Ooh.
right? as they were filing out of Rupp Arena the other night. So it's basketball, man, and some nights it's the other team's night, and
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
Gator
You don't
Boy,
overreact.
Gator Boy on YouTube, brought to you by Claude Plum, says, why 9-day breaks in college basketball and then play on the road after that? Even looked out of shape. Florida was obviously not ready to physically or mentally. Everybody in the league gets that one kind of, I don't want to call it a bye week because you still play, but you don't play that midweek game, right?
You have a midweek bye. Yes. Tennessee
Yeah.
hasn't had theirs yet. That's why they have their one game up in the standings. So I mean, he says why have that and play on the road? Well, you either play on the road or you play at home.
Yeah.
You know, so somebody come off a midweek bye is probably gonna play at home, and someone's gonna play on the road. So you know, did they respond to it? You know, not very well. No.
No.
No, but maybe next year when they're coming off a midweek bye, they'll win. They'll win, and maybe they won't be playing a team like Rick Barnes. They wouldn't know they have the number one defense in the country, right? Do people understand that? I mean, they play different, and I think officials call the game differently for Tennessee at home. They just and that's the nature of the beast with officials now. But there's a lot of clutching and grabbing going on, but you got to play through that stuff, and you know you do have to make shots for God's sakes. And Florida didn't make any shots, and this has been one of the elite offensive teams in the country. So I got my hat on here. Can we tip a hat to Tennessee to how they played, for goodness sake? Because I think Tennessee fans were probably burning their Final Four tickets when Florida drummed them by 30 a month ago, right? So let's just kind of take a step back here and we still got some games to play.
Yeah.
Half the season. We're only halfway through the Southeastern Conference season.
Yeah, before we jump into Vanderbilt, I don't know what made me think of this, but the league is so hard right now, and it's going to be hard when we go to Nashville for the SEC tournament. Chris, do you think, and I'm not saying coaches are competitors, players are competitors, but that SEC tournament, we can look at it last year, how deep we went, and then you get no rest really, and then you got to turn around, 5 or 6 days later, and it's the first round of the NCAA tournament. Do you think those coaches are going to even care about the SEC tournament this year, unless you're on the bubble trying to get in? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I remember talking to Todd about this because they went on an incredible played 4 games in that tournament, and then lost their starting center for the season in the championship game, and it wasn't just that they were undermanned. I mean, emotionally, that was a big hit to the team, and then you got to roll out and play. The NCAA tournament. And that's why years ago, the Big East moved it all back. So to give an extra, you had their championship game on a Saturday night, remember? Yeah. And instead of playing, your championship game on a Sunday. So there's some talk to that. But remember last year, Florida destroyed Alabama. Alabama's in Alabama's first game of that SEC tournament. Alabama had that week. Going to the next week, they go to the Final Four. So there is a debate that coaches think about how much we want to invest in this. And at some point, like last year, Florida ended up being a 7 seed in the tournament. Okay. They were probably a 7 seed going into the tournament, and they win 3 games in the tournament, and they don't improve that seeding. And that's the kind of thing that I think Todd Golden and these coaches that are in similar situations like that have conversations with the basketball committees and stuff during their conference meetings. How does that help us? We just went on this great run to the first tournament championship game in 10 years, and we didn't move up a line in the seeding or 2 lines in the seeding, whereas Florida destroyed Alabama twice last year, lost at Tuscaloosa in overtime. Alabama, I think, was a 4 seed, and Florida was a 7. So that's the kind of stuff that they look at. So yes, that stuff is talked about. How much are we going to put into this tournament? Now, it helps when if Florida can be a top 4 seed in the tournament and you're not playing until Friday and you play 3 games instead of, battling out of that Thursday spot and try to get to Sunday. But man, we're a long way from talking about that, right? We're 6 weeks away from that.
I don't know what just made me think of that.
Yeah.
For sprain, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. Check them out. UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. A few more minutes with Chris Harry here on the Titan MR hotline. Titan MR text line. This is from Jonathan. He says, Chris, what can you tell us about the Vanderbilt Commodores?
Okay, well, I can tell you that they're in their first year under a coach, Mark Byington, who came from James Madison last year. And I believe before that, what's that? I'm trying to think. He was at, oh shoot, I forgot this. He was at Georgia Southern, which is not an easy job, but he did a pretty successful, had a little successful that got him that JMU job. If you recall, JMU, I think went 32-4 last year, and won their first round game against Wisconsin before. I think they got blown out in the second round. I forget who it was. Might have been Arizona or something like that. I mean, but they're going to try to score points before they guard. They're not defending well at all defensively in the Southeastern Conference. I think they're next to the last in effective field goal percentage. They're next to the last in giving up 2-pointers, and they're last in 3-point percentage defense. I think teams are hitting almost 42% of threes. Now you say, oh, okay, well that's an advantage. They're obviously giving up some open ones. You got to make them. Florida making any threes the other day, 4-27. So getting opportunities. It's funny. So Tennessee made some threes the other day. Going in, they had
terrible.
shot. The games before that, they were taking all these threes. Say, well, it's so out of character with Barnes's teams, right? They're shooting more threes than they were twos. But they made them the other day. Chaz Lanier made 5. So sometimes it's your night. But for Florida's going to have a size advantage inside. Okay, I think they're big. They're big as a reserve. But their biggest guy, I want to say, is 6'8" or 6'9". He's a big kind of 260 kind of guy. But they mostly play. They play like 4 guards, run 5 out. The Florida's going to have opportunities to score and have opportunities to get offensive rebounds and second chance points, which they did not do against Tennessee. Tennessee would not allow that.
I don't want to move ahead, but let's talk. We won't have you on, but we go to Auburn. They're the best team in America. They got Janai Broome, phenomenal. But I think the difference from when I watched them play this year, they've always reminded me of kind of like Houston. I felt like Houston and Auburn were always the same type of team. Just have athletes that get after you, and they can score, but they don't have any good shooters. I feel like Auburn they have a couple of guys that can really shoot the basketball now. I don't know how much you've watched them. What can you tell us about Auburn?
Well, I wouldn't compare.
We're not coaches, so we can look ahead.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't compare them to Houston because Houston's defense. They're a top 3 defensive team. Not that Auburn doesn't now, but Auburn's offense is so elite. And to your point about again, Bruce Pearl has his blueprint. All his teams to me look the same.
They look the same.
They go up and down. They play. They play fast. They make shots. This team reminds me of their Final Four team in 2019 when they had what's his name, Bryce Brown. And they had wings who could score. They had bigs who could score. Now, of course, everything goes through Broome. I mean, you can look up sometimes the guy has like 21 and like 16. I think he had 20. He had 21 and 20 in a game this year. The guy's unbelievable. He's down from Tampa. It's like Walter Clayton. How did this guy play in Florida and get out of the state of Florida? He went to Morehead State out of Tampa Catholic, for God's sake. But they're great, and it's a incredibly difficult place to play. Bruce Pearl, Todd Gold calls him the ultimate program builder. It's a perfect description of him because everywhere he's gone, they've built, and they become elite. And that's what Auburn is right now. And I would, they're the odds-on favorite, not just to win the league, but number 1 overall seed in the term. I think they have 13 quad 1 wins already. Okay, 13. Florida has 4. So that's the kind of discrepancy we're talking about.
And I was watching them play. I don't remember who it was the other day. Maybe it was when they were playing Tennessee. Remember the one kid that was in the transfer portal? I want to say we looked at him and I thought we may have wanted him or were hoping to get him. The kid from maybe was it James
Furman?
JJ Pegues?
Furman? Yeah.
He doesn't even play.
That's right. No, and they got Elijah Martin instead of him. So that was who? What's the guard? Well, who was the two guard that they were going to bring in? And no, Pegues, he has been a disappointment so far with him. I will say this: Auburn and Tennessee. If you'd watch that game, what's the score of that game?
I don't even know if anybody hit the 50s, did they?
53-51.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tennessee does it to everybody. Auburn's averaging like 80, 86 a game, or 87 a game. Now, do you want to have the second lowest scoring output of the shot clock era in your program history? No. But they do it to other teams too. They did it to Auburn. Auburn just made more shots than they did. And Auburn played better defense in against Tennessee than Florida played against Tennessee the other day.
All right, before we get you out of here, Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Melon Law says, Chris, what's your take on the Luka Anthony Davis trade?
Luka Anthony Davis. I mean, I was shocked when I woke up yesterday to start scrolling through my phone, and so I saw there was another trade last night. Zach LaVine or whatever got moved to the Spurs or whatever, or to Sacramento for DeAndre. But I mean, if I'm LeBron, I'm feeling pretty rejuvenated. I think Anthony Davis. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the trainers and doctors in San Antonio are rolling up their sleeves. They're gonna have to deal with Anthony Davis now or something. But I guess I said San Antonio. I meant Dallas. I mean, I want to see it happen. I just swear, I'm stunned. I don't know how Luka. I watched the guy. He's like 270 pounds.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like he looks like a Coke machine out there doing like the stuff that he's doing? Just this, there's nothing defined about him
He's got a terrible body.
it's and yet, I mean, he does whatever he wants. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I would say the Lakers got the better of that deal, given the kid's age, and he's about to go. I don't even know if he's in his prime yet, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
But
he's phenomenal. He's always looking like he's in slow motion too.
he does, and it just does what he wants. Yeah.
Wanted to ask you this because somebody asked earlier, Barone 71 on YouTube brought to you by Quad Plumbing. How is Keontae Johnson doing? What is he up to? And where is he still playing somewhere?
He's in the G League. You know what? I think he was released by OKC G League, and I think he's with the Charlotte G League team, and I think he might have made the All-Star game. But he's doing really well as Zion Pullen. And he's on a two-way now with the Heat. I don't know if I don't keep track of the guys, bouncing back and forth in the Gators like I used to, I think. But of all the guys in the G League right now, I think he's had one better. He had like an incredible triple-double a couple weeks ago. I want to say he had like 37 and 10 and 14 or something like that. But I mean, phenomenal performance by him. But Castleton is down playing in the with the Orlando G League team. I think they play out of Lakeland. So those are some of the guys I know who are doing well in the G League.
What kind of money are the contracts in the G League roughly?
If you're the one you want to get is the two-way.
Okay.
And the two-way I think gets you like let's say it's 350, maybe 450, something like that. Something you can live on. Something you can live like your salary.
Yeah, like my salary.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Like
That's like my
Freddie's
salary
paying.
in the NFL. Yes,
Not for
indeed.
12 years. You were making those seven-figure contracts by the
No,
time
never
you
made
were in your
seven figures. Never.
15th season. 15th season.
I would now if I was playing, but not
That's
back
right.
in the days. Chris, good
That's right.
stuff as always. You got any good stuff you're working on that people can read on?
You know what? We're going to switch gears a little this week and going after your heart here. Got a little look at the softball team. Okay, they open Thursday, and a couple of the major polls, softball, I guess it is. They were having them number one in the country in a season where Oklahoma, the four-time national champion of Texas, who was in the national championship series last year, are joining the league. So Tim Walton has an incredible bunch of newcomers and a nice core from last year. That season opens Thursday, so I'm going to give a little look at that.
Yeah, should be fun. Chris, appreciate your time, and we'll be listening and following you on Twitter
I
tomorrow.
don't know if you'll be
night.
listening. That's unofficial right now. But
Yeah.
thanks for releasing it.
No, I was listening. I meant listening on your tweets on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
That's Chris Harry joining us on the Titan No More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We appreciate his time. And JC, we'll be here tomorrow, folks. Have a great day. Take
See you,
care.
Shane.
Bye, bud.